And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the November 12th, 2025 Lenawee County Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd remind cell phone users to please silence your cell phone with the exception of law enforcement and emergency services. And if everyone would please rise, we will have the invocation followed by the pledge by our County Clerk Holloway. Clerk Holloway.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just come before you this Thanksgiving season with hearts full of gratitude. Thank you for your love, your mercy, and your grace. We are grateful for your healing power and abundant blessings. But most of all, we are thankful for the promise of salvation given through your Son, Jesus Christ. Fill this place with your presence, Lord. May your wisdom and love be evident in all we say and do. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Clerk Holloway. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ungst?
Here.
Commissioner Blanco? Here. Commissioner Collins?
Here.
Commissioner Daly? Commissioner Krasny?
Here.
Commissioner Martis?
Here.
Commissioner Stimson? Is absent. Commissioner Tillotson? Absent. Commissioner Van Doren?
Here.
We have 7 present and 2 absent.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of October 15th, 2025 would be in order.
If there are no additions, corrections to minutes, I move they be accepted as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Ungst. Additions or corrections? Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Amendments to the agenda. Any amendments to the agenda? If not, a motion would be in order to approve the agenda as public.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Blanco, supported by Commissioner Martis. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Petitions and communications.
I have none.
Commissioners? Thank you. Introduction of special guests. We'll introduce him when we have our hearing, but our Executive Director from MAC is with us today, Steve Curry. We welcome you, Steve. Glad to have you and all the work that you do up there at MAC. Limited public comment. This is the time if you have anything to discuss about agenda items, you have 3 minutes to address the board. And there's petitions on the front of the podium to fill out to send up, but I don't have any. So is there any public comment? Okay, thank you. Resolutions and proclamations. Commissioner Krasny is going to present a Homeless Awareness Month proclamation. We welcome the members that are here supporting that. I don't know if Sarah, oh yeah, Sarah Buku is here, Mike Hendershot, Callie Gaffner. Yeah, anybody involved, please step up with Commissioner Krasny. Got the mic there, right?
Come on up. Thank you all. I hereby read the proclamation for the Homeless Awareness Month. Whereas attainable housing is an increasing challenge affecting people of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life across Lenawee County and the nation. And whereas housing instability impacts health, education, and economic opportunity, making it essential to raise awareness and support for individuals and families in need. And whereas local organizations, including the Lenawee Continuum of Care, Housing Help of Lenawee, Share the Warmth, and many others work diligently to provide shelter transitional housing, counseling, and employment assistance to those experiencing housing insecurity. And whereas Homelessness Awareness Month observed throughout November encourages all residents to learn about housing challenges, show compassion, and support community-driven efforts that promote stability, dignity, and opportunity for all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim November 2025 as Homelessness Awareness Month in Lenawee County and encourages all citizens to engage in efforts to address housing insecurity, support those in need, and help build a community where everyone has access to safe, stable, and attainable housing. Passed by roll call vote of Lenawee County Board of Commissioners at a regular meeting held Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 in Adrian, Michigan. I hereby move.
Support. I have a motion supported by Commissioner Krasny, supported by Commissioner Martis. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Stimson is absent. Commissioner Tillotson is absent. Commissioner Van Doren,
Yes.
Commissioner Ungst,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Daly, Commissioner Krasny,
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Sarah, let's say some things. Come on, Sarah. You're a friend of mine. I think, is that okay for me to
That's
say?
okay. That's okay.
Might lose some vote.
It's too late for that. I'm Sarah Buku. I'm the Executive Director at Housing Help of Lenawee. As we know, things are a lot more expensive currently, and we are seeing a pretty big volume of people coming into our organization on a daily basis. So the support of the commissioners is very much appreciated, and our partners that share the warmth are also doing really, really good work for the community. So, but thank you for this honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have a Family Court Awareness Proclamation to be presented by Commissioner Blanco. If Geraldine, Dion are here, or do you want to step up, come on up, or anybody else with Family Court Awareness?
Family Court Awareness Month, November 2025. So whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month is to raise awareness about the importance of a family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interests of children. And whereas family court decisions have lasting impacts on children and families, making it essential that these decisions are informed by research, compassion, and a clear understanding of child safety and family well-being. And whereas an estimated 58,000 children in the United States are ordered into unsupervised contact with abusive parents each year, resulting in hundreds of preventable fatalities, including 39 children in Michigan since 2008 during divorce, custody, or custody disputes. And whereas we recognize the need for a court system that values stability, permanency, and protection for every child, supported by judges and professionals who prioritize child safety and family stability. And whereas Family Court Awareness Month brings attention to the importance of informed, family-centered decisions that protect vulnerable children and promote accountability, understanding, and compassion. And so therefore, I move that it be resolved that the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners does hereby and proclaim November 2025 as Family Court Awareness Month.
I have a I have a motion by Commissioner Blanco, supported by Commissioner Collins. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ungst,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Daly, Commissioner Krasny,
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson is absent and Commissioner Tillotson is absent. Commissioner Van Doren,
Yes.
7 yeas.
Resolution passes.
Say a few words.
Good afternoon. My name is Geraldine. I'm from Protective Parents, Michigan. I just want to thank Lenawee County for acknowledging Family Court Awareness Month. Leaving domestic violence is very difficult and oftentimes unsafe. And when you have children with your abuser, you go into family court that often doesn't understand domestic violence and safety that needs to be involved in any parenting plans. You're expected to co-parent and cooperate with your abuser. And it's very difficult and oftentimes dangerous to be in that type of situation. So Family Court Awareness Month is just looking to educate court personnel on domestic violence so that the children can be safe. We do have legislation that's in the works called Cadence Law, where judges would be educated on all types of abuse, including abuse that doesn't leave physical signs. I just want to thank you for acknowledging that and raising awareness because we make plans to leave a domestic violence situation. We have to make safety plans, but sometimes the kids are not safe after we leave. So if you would like to support Cadence Law, please contact your Michigan State representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. We have an Adoption Awareness Month proclamation to be presented by Commissioner Collins.
Whereas Lenawee County recognizes the vital role adoption plays in providing children with safe, loving, and permanent families. And whereas the county is committed to working alongside local agencies, organizations, and child advocates to recruit, support, and celebrate adopted families, helping children achieve stability and lifelong connections. And whereas securing, nurturing, and permanent homes for children is a goal that deserves attention and effort throughout the year, with special focus on raising awareness during the month of November. And whereas communities across the nation observe National Adoption Month to promote understanding and encourage citizens to engage in the lives of children in need. Whereas as adoptive parents, mentors, volunteers, or advocates, and whereas we honor and commend those who open their hearts and homes through adoption, recognizing the profound and lasting difference they make in the lives of children and families. And whereas this observance, together with similar initiatives across the country, seeks to ensure that every child has the opportunity to thrive in a safe, stable, and loving home. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners does proclaim November 2025 as Adoption Awareness Month in Lenawee County and encourages all citizens to support adoption efforts and celebrate the families who provide children with the gift of belonging and unconditional love. I so move.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Blanco. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Blanco,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Daly, Commissioner Krasny.
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson is absent. Commissioner Tillotson is absent. Commissioner Van Doren,
Yes.
Commissioner Ungst.
Yes.
7 yeas.
Resolution passes.
Thank you. My name's Kathy Hopper. I am the adoption coordinator for Lenawee County. I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the probate court, the circuit family court, all of our agencies, DHHS, Fostering Solutions, Catholic Charities, Hands Across the Water, numerous attorneys across the county, and of course, all of our adoptive families. This year alone, we've had 32 adoptions finalized, and we will be having 3 more next week at our Adoption Day celebration, which you're all invited to. Hopefully you can attend. It's on Tuesday, the 18th at 1:30. We have 3 special families, each with very unique situations, but amazing stories of how they are taking in children to their families. So I would like to reach out and just say thank you on behalf of everyone, and hopefully you can attend next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Not to worry, Counselor, you're exempt. Special presentations, Mr. Curry from Michigan Association of Counties. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for having me today, Commissioners. As stated, my name is Steve Curry. I'm the Executive Director of the Michigan Association of Counties. One of my roles as Executive Director is I try to get out to as many counties each year as possible and do these sort of presentations. Now with 4-year county commissioner terms, it's easier to get to everyone before there's an election. So now I only have to do like 20 a year instead of trying to hit 40. So that's very helpful. I do have a presentation I'm going to run through. Feel free to interrupt me with questions, or if you prefer to wait to the end, it doesn't matter to me. So if you want to go ahead and start the first slide. So this kind of gives you an overview of MAC. We're obviously known for 3 primary areas, advocacy, education, and services. The advocacy side, we definitely look at it as a team effort. Hopefully we're arming you with enough information at the local level that can help advocate on the issues we're speaking about as Lansing. At the national level, we do coordinate with NACO on specific issues that affect us from a national level. On the education side, we provide various educational opportunities, whether it's our conferences, webinars, you name it, we have it on our website, and we send information out as well. And then on the services side, I have a slide that'll talk about that, but there are various services counties can take advantage of through the association that hopefully save time and money at the local level. Next slide. So this is an overview of our board, 16 members that are elected. We typically have our elections at our annual conference. We did just elect 4 county commissioners at this last conference. You have a new representative, Monica Schaefer from Ingham County is now on the board, along with Dwight Washington from Clinton County. We have 2 representatives from each region. The board meets at least 4 times a year at each of our conferences, and at least 2 other times. You can go ahead to the next slide. So this is the current board makeup. Antoinette Wallace is the MAC president. She's from Macomb County. Brian Washington, first vice president from Newaygo County. William Miller, second vice president from Oakland County. And Melissa Dobb is the immediate past president from Wayne County. I mentioned our conferences. We just finished our conference about a month ago up in Grand Traverse Resort. At Grand Traverse County. Our next conference will be our legislative conference, which will be in Lansing, April 27th through 29th. Those Lansing conferences are always in Lansing. That's why we have it as a legislative conference, and they're typically in that April timeframe. Next conference will be after that will be the annual conference at Grand Traverse Resort again, and that'll be in September of 2026. Next slide, please. So getting into some of the priorities we've been working on this legislative session, a pretty uneventful legislative session. I'll get into that in a minute, but these are kind of our priorities. I'll talk about each of these individually with the exception of the veterans property tax exemption because there's not a separate slide on that. But essentially what that would be in a reimbursement from the state on that veteran property tax exemption that was enacted back in 2015. Our intent is to not adversely affect veterans by any way, shape, or form. They would continue to get that property tax exemption. However, the state would reimburse us for that. We were able to get something similar with a personal property tax exemption that the baseline threshold went up, doubled actually. The state reimbursed us for that. That was about a $75 million loss statewide for local units of government. So we're looking to do the same thing with that. And then on the Reformed Earned Sick Time Act, that was one of the few bills that was passed this legislative term. We were active in that. We did support the changes that were ultimately enacted that protect employers, of course, counties being employers across the state. That was an important bill as well. So you can go to the next slide. So let's talk a little bit about the legislature right now. Major political shift. Republicans now control the House. Of course, we're getting toward the ends of the year, which is crazy that we're already in November, but Republicans control the House 58-52. Democrats still have a one-person majority, 1918 with one vacancy. That special election is now the spring of next year. That has finally been announced. One of the changes that came with the new House leadership, they did eliminate the local government committee. What does that mean? It just means our bills tend to get spread out to different committees. Our legislative staff has to educate a few more legislators on what the bills do to affect local government. And then right now we're at about 14 public acts enacted in 2025. Next slide. Budget that was finally passed while we were at our conference actually and signed October 8th. This was kind of the budget timeline we had in there. You know, you can kind of see when everything was passed, introduced, ultimately we did have a federal government shutdown and a state government shutdown. First time I've known that to happen. It did happen briefly while everyone was sleeping prior to our legislature passing basically a continuation bill to the end of the week. And then they were able to get the budget signed, bipartisan budget signed. So did have a brief shutdown there. No one really noticed it. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the impacts of the budget here in the next slide. So we were able to avoid a 12% cut in revenue sharing. So revenue sharing was flat over the previous year, which we were happy to see. There was some boilerplate language in order for that revenue sharing to be distributed that we had to get fixed. We were able to get that in there as well. There is a new public safety crime reduction fund, about $14 million, allows for flexible spending at the county level. Some information went out on our legislative update last week based on what the estimates are for each county in that area. There was also the public safety constituency grants. These went to the high crime counties. You can see those listed there. And there was also language in there that needed to be fixed. You can go to the next slide. A big component of the budget and why it took so long was road funding. Significant increases for local government in this road funding plan. It's going to generate about 1.5 billion to 1.85 billion per year. Now all the taxes at the pump go towards road funding. There was a sales tax previously at the pump that would be going to the general fund and be diverted through various areas on the general fund. Now that goes away and it does all go to the roads. They also enacted a new marijuana excise tax, about a 35 or 34% excise tax. 24% on top of the 10%. So it's now a 34% excise tax. Ironically, it generated $420 million for roads. And I'll talk about distribution here in a second. And they also did a change in the corporate income tax at the state level that generated some funding as well. So when it was all said and done, it was about, and it does grow over time, but it's about 1.5 billion to 1.85 billion for roads. And you can go to the next slide. So where does it go? So Michigan Transportation Fund is the first area. That's the normal PA 51 funding that we're all used to. That's always been around. So about 460 million goes to that. They also created a neighborhood road fund. The majority of that does go to local roads, so your county roads, your city roads. When it's all said and done, it's about a 35.5% increase for county road agencies across the state. So significant increases for your local roads that obviously need the help that we've seen the state roads obviously getting upgraded over time. Next slide. So changing gears a little bit, court funding, still an issue. Back in 2017, the state had a trial court funding commission, which came out with recommendations on how they thought the courts should be operated. Whether it was fees, how the fees are distributed, should the court employees be state employees, a whole gamut of recommendations. They started, which we were in support of back then. They started enacting some of those. COVID hits. Legislators change, some of that institutional knowledge goes away, so kind of has been sitting out there. There's been sunsets on the ways that the fees can be charged. Those fees were supposed to go away at end of last year. We were able to get a sunset extension. Now that sunset extension is the end of next year, 2026. Statewide, it costs counties about $25-35 million if those fees go away. The trial court funding, there was legislation enacted that created kind of work groups to kind of look at this again, revitalize it. Those work groups' recommendations were released last week. They actually do have a joint committee hearing on it tomorrow where they're going to present those recommendations. I would say we're lukewarm at best on those recommendations. While we did have representation on there, along with a lot of other groups, we were one voice. We're not super happy with the way those recommendations have come out. We're anxious to hear how those are presented tomorrow. And then what sort of bills are introduced after that before we kind of say where we're going to be on it and provide more information. But I would encourage you, if you have time, there's the committee hearing will be broadcast. There will be a presentation on those, and we'll provide more information as we get bills that are actually introduced that reflect those changes. Revenue sharing trust fund, something we've been talking about for a while. Those are the new bills. So there's House bills and Senate bills. We were very successful last legislative session getting those bills passed out 106-4. So obviously broad bipartisan support. Those have been referred to the Committee on Government Ops, which typically was a bad place, but now we are seeing activity in that committee, and we are hopeful to still get movement on that once bills start getting moved again. Right now, there's not a lot of movement on any bills in either chamber. So, again, this would kind of earmark a portion of general fund dollars dedicated to county revenue sharing and local government revenue sharing, where, we only get the statutory side, where CVTs gets the constitutional. So technically, our revenue sharing dollars can be appropriated away every year. We're there to make sure that doesn't happen. This would help make sure that doesn't happen even more. It doesn't fully insulate it from that sort of decision making, but it does make it a little more difficult. Next slide. Veteran service grants. So as many of you know, there was a shortfall in the veteran service grants this year. House Bill 4423 would make up for that shortfall. Rep. Rogers is a bill sponsor on it. Again, broad bipartisan support to make sure that those dollars get out to those county veteran service agencies across the state. Incidentally, there is another grant program, $4 million in the 2026 budget as well. And then everything I talked about today goes to our policy committees. You can see the 5 policy committees there. I know many of you have sat on our committees or do sit on our committees, so we do appreciate that. You don't have to come to Lansing. Most people Zoom in. We've been doing that way before it became a thing, but you are more than welcome to attend in our offices. We do have a PAC, a small PAC. It primarily supports those 26 former county commissioners that are in the legislature. You could donate at that website there. And then I talked a little bit about services. These are some of the services we provide. We have a collaborative purchasing program that we endorse, CoPro Plus. We have a workers' compensation fund. We have some insurance programs. Savvy is kind of a newer one, which is a student loan forgiveness program where it kind of takes your employees' information and scrubs all the public loan forgiveness programs out there and shows them what they qualify for, where they may adjust their rates. So it's kind of an employee retention tool that some counties are taking advantage of. But if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me on any of those. And then these are communication tools. Of course, we send out our weekly update. Hopefully you're getting that. We've gone out back to a printed newsletter every other month. We do a podcast on Mondays, Twitter, Instagram, all that sort of thing. So hopefully you're getting the information you need and we're providing it in a timely manner. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Commissioner Ungst.
Steve, can you spend a minute on the sick time? I get a lot of questions on that. Is there any foreseeable changes?
No foreseeable changes as to what was enacted in the spring. And to be honest, it's been so long, I don't remember all the exact changes. But at this point, I have not heard of anything, any sort of fixes or anything like that. In the spring, I do remember people saying they needed to be some fixes, but I have not heard any activity on that at this point, nor have I seen any bills introduced that have been getting hearings on it.
So it's good. Yeah.
As is, yes.
Commissioner Collins.
No question, Steve. I just want to comment, a positive comment. I appreciate the new format that was used in the last legislative conference where we all had stayed in the same area all the way through. That was very easy for me.
Thanks. Yeah, I think we're going to stick with that foreseeable future. We did get a lot of positive comments on that, and we were able to go back to kind of the normal conference set up for the annual conference. So it provides a little variety there. Thank you.
Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since it was brought up, can you describe the situation with the Sick Time Act to those in attendance and those at home watching?
Again, it's been a while since.
Cliff notes, it's fine.
Yeah, so if, and you may know more about it than I do because it's been a while, but from what I understand, it had to do with how sick time was going to be handled at the employer level and certain minimum amounts that were going to be available to employees from the employer based on your employer size. So if you were a smaller employer, you still had to have certain levels, a certain amount of paid sick time available, and then the tracking of it. And there were a lot of different hoops that mainly smaller employers had to jump through that they didn't have to before, and it was going to be very costly for them to do that. Is that good enough?
I'm not the judge.
Commissioner Martis.
Steve, again, I hate to go back to this issue, but PA 233, of course, is still the law of the land. We're seeing the brunt of that here in Lenawee County with maybe 25,000 acres of solar now being proposed and at least several developers proposing hundreds of wind turbines. We know it's going to take a change in legislation in the long term, but I just wanted to thank you again for the support Matt gave us as we attempted and failed, unfortunately, to place the matter before the people, but it's an issue that still resonates with every local unit of government here in our county and across the state. So
Yeah, I appreciate your work on it. I know we were on a lot of phone calls together and did our best to affect that. I know there's still the lawsuit hanging out there, and I guess we'll see what happens with that. And you can always change legislation in the future, I guess.
okay. Thank you.
Any others? Well, Steve, I just want to say thank you for coming. I mean, the administrator and I sit on your judiciary and public safety, and the deputy administrator sits on, or we sit on finance and general government, and deputy administrator sits on judiciary and public safety. So a lot of work being done up there, and we really appreciate the support. Dina does a great job for us on our committee, and I'm sure yours as well. So I don't know if either one of you have any comments.
No, I just want to reiterate, thank you for taking the time to come down here and inform the commissioners and the public that's listening in as to what's going on at MAC. There's a lot of work that is being done behind the scenes that I don't think has seen. And so by talking about and going, I know you had to go through your PowerPoint pretty quickly, but there is a lot of work, and we really do appreciate everything that you and your team are doing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it's tough to communicate that at times, especially when you're not seeing a lot of activity in Lansing. But the work is still being done with work groups and communicating with legislators and their staff, the positions that counties have. So I appreciate those comments. Thank you.
I too appreciate MAC very much. It's been incredibly helpful and resourceful for all of us here in Lenawee County. So I appreciate you and your team.
Thank you.
In the last meeting, I appreciate the Starbucks lemon bread. Thank you very much. So
Thank you.
thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Always good to have you. You're always welcome. Today, we're fortunate to have our well-wise services for the area aging here. We have Nicole Baker and Kara Lorenz going, so we're welcome. We would have introduced you under special guest, but you were running a little late, so we didn't get you, so.
Good afternoon. Sorry about that. We were coming from another Michigan Department of Health and Human Services meeting. So thank you so much for having us in front of you today. Just to remind everyone, Wellwise Services Area Agency on Aging serves Lenawee, Jackson, and Hillsdale County, and we support older adults, adults with disabilities, and their caregivers in our communities. I'm Kara Lorenz Goings. I'm the CEO at Wellwise, so I'm probably a new face to some of you. I've been at Wellwise Services for 11 years. I've been in this industry my whole career, and I was thinking about it on the way here. My first job out of college as a social worker was, I'm going to age myself, in 2001 at Adrian Healthcare Center on Sand Creek Highway. So I was raised in Lenawee County, so I'm familiar with the area, and I love our community and the community we serve. So I'm going to go into some of the talking points, and then Nicole Baker is going to get up and talk about, there's a one-page graphic that we'd like to share with you. So our report details Older American Act funding in Lenawee County through September 30, 2025. It is not representative of all budgeted or awarded funds. As a reminder, contractors are permitted to submit transfer requests to allow for budget flexibility within the current fiscal year. Contractors submit monthly cash requests and budget reports, and monthly meetings are held to discuss funding and trends in spending. So Nicole Baker and I, related to our area implementation plan, also known as the AIP, we were able to present our plan to the Commission on Services to the Aging in August, and our plan was approved for 2026. There's no changes in the draft you all received in June. The final version will be made available on our website. Our 3-year community needs survey will launch at the end of the month. Data from this survey will inform our agency's work and that of our contractors during the next multi-year plan cycle, fiscal year 27 through 29. To kick off these efforts, Wellwise and Jackson Department on Aging will co-host a community conversation facilitated by MDHHS. We're happy to have that in our region. That will be at the Crouch Center on November 17th at 9:30, and we would invite you all to attend. Information gathered at this event will be used to inform our state plan on aging. Since our last presentation in March, Wellwise Services has presented sessions at 2 national conferences and received 2 national awards for our community education work and our Safe Haven program. Both things we're very proud of. I also wanted to mention we just recently received from the American Society on Aging that we'll be able to speak in Atlanta in April on our Safe Haven work. So we are a nationally recognized area agency on aging on many levels, and we'll be putting in for some sessions at the U.S. Aging Conference in San Diego this summer. And we don't have it on here, but we just spoke at the Area on Aging Association Conference just this last month. Nicole Baker and our controller did a presentation on how well our finance department works with our programmatic side. So that was a great presentation as well. Earlier this month, Wellwise presented a session, well, that's exactly what I just said. We remain heavily involved in advocacy efforts to educate our elected officials, both in the state of Michigan and at the federal level. Recently, we met with Congressman Wahlberg and Commissioner Krasny at our office in Brooklyn, where we were able to discuss the needs of older adults with disabilities and their caregivers. Like many other agencies, we've been closely monitoring the federal shutdown and are encouraged that the Senate advanced a bill to the House for federal funds through January 30th. It sounds like a vote is scheduled for this evening. We continue to be grateful for the level funding we've received from state budget and appreciate that the direct care worker premium pay rate at $3.40 per hour will continue for fiscal year 2026. Lenawee Department on Aging has joined Disability Connections, Branch, Hillsdale, St. Joseph County Community Health Agency, and the Jackson Department on Aging and Hillsdale County Senior Services to provide our person-centered options counseling services in addition to Medicare counseling under the My Options program. My Options is newer to our state. We were awarded that contract. That was a lot of work by Wellwise to submit and our partners, so we're very appreciative of that. The program seeks to expand access to information about long-term services and supports in 2026, using a statewide call center, which has been successful in several other states. We have several options counselors that if you call our agency or work with our partners, they would be able to navigate anyone through any long-term care needs and means to stay in our community and age in place, which is our mission. We're currently in the middle of open enrollment where Medicare beneficiaries can work with non-biased counselors to select their Part D prescription coverage for the upcoming year. I would highly suggest if you know anybody with a Part D plan that they call our agency or one of our sites to make an appointment for getting their Part D reviewed. These are mostly, we have a site leader, but mostly volunteer driven, and they're trained volunteers, unbiased information related to Part D. Saves lots of money for individuals. This is a small but mighty program. We saved beneficiaries over $1 million annually throughout the region. We are working closely with our contractors, including Lenawee Department on Aging, to complete fiscal year 25 and closeout procedures, and look forward to tabulating programmatic and fiscal reports which demonstrate the impact of services in Hillsdale, Jackson, Lenawee counties. We have actually kicked off our Holiday at Homes campaign, so if you hear of anybody, it's a great campaign for the season where if you donate funds, we get gifts, but many times they're basic needs gifts to the people who are aging in place in our community. And we hand deliver those gifts. It's a great program. And any overflow of those funds go into our unmet needs program, which is an ongoing program through the year that's underfunded. Unmet needs can support any one-time need that someone might call with a crisis of sorts. We have an unmet needs committee that reviews the need and that sort of thing. So this is an important campaign. If you know anybody who'd like to donate, you can donate right on our website. And that concludes my report, but I'm going to hand it over to Nicole Baker to go over a one-page graphic here. But also, I'd like to thank Commissioner Van Dorn for joining our board and sitting on our board. So thank you for that.
You.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's nice to see some of you again. Some of you were present at Lenawee Department on Aging's recent advisory board meeting. I think a few of you were there, so it's nice to see some of you again. As Kara said, I'm the Chief Services Officer at Wellwise. I've been there for 8 years now. I like to tell a story that I started as an intern there, which I did, and it's turned out to be a wonderful experience for me. Kara mentioned a little bit in her report about funds that have been utilized in Lenawee County through Department on Aging by way of our agency. But that really is just a small snippet, I think, of the information that I'd like to share with you today. So we included in our semi-annual report the kind of infographic page you'll see on your screens. Because I wanted to talk a little bit about the infrastructure that exists for the AAA network, as well as the infrastructure that supports the partnership with Wellwise and Lenawee Department on Aging. So if you'll permit me a little bit of a history lesson. So the Older Americans Act of 1965 is actually what started area agencies on aging, not just here in Michigan, but around the country. So that piece of federal legislation is incredibly important for a variety of services throughout the country. You can see there, so there are over 600 area agencies on aging across the country. Every single state has at least one area agency on aging. The way that AAAs are structured varies depending on which state you're in. So in Michigan, we have 16 area agencies on aging. And I threw in just a few graphics or a few data points for you there, but on average, we serve over 200,000 Michiganders every single year through AAA services. We have over 3,000 service providers that work in coordination with area agencies on aging. And that partnership that extends across the state is similar to that that's across the country. But I like to say that, if you've seen one area agency on aging, you've seen one area agency on aging. There are a lot of differences between the area agencies on aging for very good reason. And it's because there is a desire there for a lot of local control over how funding is used to support older adults and caregivers. The multi-year planning process is one of, so when Kara was talking about the annual implementation plan, that's part of that multi-year planning process that allows us to follow a set of criteria to administer funds and to gather feedback from community members. And that happens on a three-year rotation. So the graphic here shows you a very, very quick snapshot of how funding flows through the different parts of government, from the feds down to our local service providers. like Lenawee Department on Aging and many others that we have in this area. So in the state of Michigan, we have our state unit on aging is the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. That was a change that happened in 2015. Previously, the area agencies on aging reported to an independent unit. That was the Office on Services to the Aging, or OSA. Some of you may remember that. But in 2015, the responsibilities there for the State Unit on Aging were transferred to Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. There have been a lot of changes to that infrastructure. There's been a lot of name changes, a lot of program name changes. But the services that you can see there, those have remained the central focus of all area agencies on aging. So making sure that there is appropriate access to services, definitely with an emphasis on rural areas, which we have a lot of in our 3-county area. Nutrition is a huge focus for all area agencies on aging. We have 3 meal providers in our region, Lenawee Department on Aging being one. The Hillsdale County Senior Services Center utilizes Older Americans Act funds in Hillsdale County. And then the Jackson County Department on Aging uses nutrition funding from the Older Americans Act to support meals in Jackson County. And there's also home and community-based services. So we provide funding that supports folks for personal care in their homes, as well as housekeeping, chore services. There's a wide variety of home and community-based services that we support with Older Americans Act funds. We also have disease prevention and health promotion services. So those often look like workshops that are most often available free of charge for individuals in any of our 3 counties on a variety of topics. We have a lot that are focused on disease prevention, and so helping individuals with chronic conditions be able to implement routines that can help them to stay out of the emergency department, to make sure that they're picking up their medications and things like that. And then also we have, as an area agency on aging, responsibility that comes down from the Older Americans Act and then is supported with guidance from our state unit on aging at MDHHS, that we invest in the long-term care ombudsman program as well as legal services. So our long-term care ombudsman program just last year in fiscal year 2025 had a new funding line made available in the state budget, which has been a tremendous help, not just in our region, but across the state. The number of individual beds that each ombudsman across the state was responsible for was astronomical. And those ombudsmen, if you're not familiar with the program, their entire goal is to advocate on behalf of that resident that's in that long-term care facility, to make sure that if they have certain dietary restrictions, that those can be met in whatever facility they're living in. If they would like to be able to, have a phone so they can call a family member, the services that those ombudsmen work to put in place for those residents, there's a wide variety of them. If you're not familiar with that program in the county, I would be happy to share some information about it, but it's a program that would deeply touch your heart. And then I wanted to conclude with the way that area agencies on aging interact with our local service providers. So Lenawee Department on Aging, as well as Catholic Charities, the Michigan Advocacy Program, Departments on Aging in Jackson County, and then also the Hillsdale County Senior Services Center. So our goal as the area agency on aging is to administer funds to our local service providers. We also provide some direct services. Our goal is to reduce or eliminate any kind of duplication. So our agency works in concert with Lenawee Department on Aging to serve individuals. Many times it looks like we may have a referral from a community member that has a need, and we may provide some services for that individual, and then we may bring in Lenawee Department on Aging to provide in-home care or transportation. And those staff members work very closely together to serve that person. And so you can see here is there's just a brief list, but we provide assessments. We have information referral departments where people can call and get information on long-term services and supports. And then Lenawee Department on Aging does the same. If they receive a referral and maybe they can provide a portion of what that individual needs, but then maybe Wellwise can supplement with some other programs, then that's the way it works back and forth. We're very fortunate to have that partnership in our area. I spoke at the advisory board meeting last month that that's not the case always in every part of the state. And so we're very grateful for the local contractors that we have. I think that concludes what I wanted to say, but there might be additional questions.
I just wanted to add one thing too. I'm sure Lenawee Department on Aging can contribute to this information as well, but the need, since I've been at the agency, the need and the calls are just increasing. And just between our Older Americans Act funded programs that keep people in place and our My Choice Waiver program, which is a Medicaid waiver program, last year we hit the marker of serving over 1,000 people in our 3 counties. And then that doesn't count all the people that are just calling that need help navigating through services and things like that. So, and I should have said it earlier too, if you had any questions, but I didn't.
Questions? Commissioner Ungst.
So there's a strong need for your services. Is there a long waiting list, or are you able to keep up with the demand?
So that is a multiple part answer. So it very much depends on which service an individual is needing. So in-home services, some of those do have waiting lists. Kara was just mentioning about the My Choice Waiver program that's Medicaid funded. In our area, there is not a waiting list for that service. We also are so very fortunate that in Lenawee County, as well as in Jackson and Hillsdale County, we do not have a waiting list for home delivered meals. That is not the case in many parts of the state. So personal care, respite, and housekeeping services, those typically have waiting lists. But we also work really well with our contractors to put the services in place that we can, even while somebody is on a waiting list. So if somebody is on a waiting list, they are contacted monthly to make sure that none of their needs have changed. They have access regularly to options counselors. We also make any external referrals that we can in the meantime. So we do all that we can for that, but waiting lists are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, we thank you for coming today. Thank you for the presentation. I can say since I've been a member of the board, the organization runs very efficiently and you guys just do a great job up there. So we appreciate it very much how you're helping our seniors out, working directly with our Department on Aging. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the consent agenda are items that were brought up at our Personnel Ways and Means meeting and passed by unanimous vote. Is there a motion to adopt the November consent agenda?
So move.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by who's support? Commissioner Daley. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Daley. Commissioner Krasny.
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson is absent. Commissioner Tillotson is absent. Commissioner Van Doren.
Yes,
Commissioner Ungst.
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco.
Yes.
7 yeas.
and the consent agenda is passed. We'll now go to standing committee reports. Accounts payable, Commissioner Martis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Accounts payable, I'm sure Jen will bring it up on the screen there. Met on the dates listed above, October 16th and October 30th. For those of you who are unaware, we meet every 2 weeks right here. And we look at 2 weeks worth of check runs every time, and then we recommend their approval coming forward. And so that's where we're at. So the request today, you can see all the detailed accounting above, but I move that we recommend the approval of the accounts payable payments in the amount of $15,619,000, $864.47, with the general funds portion being $573,678.21.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Blanco. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. That it? Okay. Criminal Justice, Commissioner Collins.
Criminal Justice, Mayor, the 6th of this month, the sheriff issued a request for safe driving for people with, obviously the weather changing and kids in school and so forth. Prosecutors submitted a very detailed report in their packet. The ME submitted an annual report. There was a lot of discussion on the Exxon contract and the burn contract, which was approved in the consent agenda.
Questions for Commissioner Collins? Thank you, Commissioner. IT and Equalization, Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. IT and Equalization Committee met on Thursday, November 6, 2025, with Commissioners Terry Collins, Ralph Tillotson, and Chairman Van Dorn and myself present. The IT report was rather thin, with IT Director Ricker shared some highlights, and the 2025 computer budget currently has a remaining balance, and some additional equipment will be ordered before the year end. Communications Coordinator Jennifer Ambrose provided a lot of new insights, including the county received 625 messages that were monitored by her, and some other really bigger increases in our social media presence and our presence communicating with our residents. So that was really exciting as always. We had a request before us that had regarding court recording software, and the equalization report was given to us, and the commercial and industrial studies are still being worked on and will be completed by the middle of November and due to the assessor by December 1st. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Commissioner Krasny? Thank you, Commissioner. Personnel, Ways and Means, Commissioner Martis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course, we met Monday due to yesterday being a federal holiday. All the items are in your packet there, of course. A couple notable things. What was the employee anniversary we recognized on Monday? Was that Deputy Administrator Elliott?
Yes.
We recognized a number of longstanding employees, but yes, I did want to bring special attention to Deputy Elliott and 19 years with the county.
Thank you, and thank you, Shannon, for your service.
Must have started when you were 16.
Well, you would want to hear it 16.
No. I feel strongly both ways. And that was, the other things are self-evident in the packet. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Questions for Commissioner Martis? Thank you, Commissioner. Policies and Procedures, Commissioner Collins.
Policy procedure, on the 3rd of this month, there was discussion on certification policy, which I'll request action on in a minute. But there was significant discussion in that the Policy and Procedure Committee over the last 2 years really have done a yeoman's job in going through each and every policy and procedure we have, updating, amending, rectifying issues and so forth. So there, as I believe as it stands right now, 2 policies yet to be reviewed. The information we need to gather for those won't be available for a month or 2. So because of that and the land need, it was decided that policy procedure would not meet monthly from this point forward. In fact, would meet at a call of the chair, because there's no reason to meet just to meet. So having said that, there was also a request for approval of the certification policy. I'll let the administrator discuss that if she wants.
Okay, this particular policy is based on employees needing to receive certifications as a requirement of their job position. This is separate from our educational reimbursement policy, which refers to degree certification. This came up because we do have employees that are required to get certain certifications and take those courses. Part of that course completion is testing. And every so often, there's a situation that comes up where maybe an employee is not able to pass that test the first time around. So the question became, is a second test something that the county is willing to pay for? We do pay for the original certification and the first test. Upon reviewing this with the committee and quite frankly, with all of the department heads in the county that have employees that fall into these categories, it is being recommended in this policy that the county does pay for that second test. However, if for some reason the employee does not pass the second time around, there's going to be future discussions that will be had between that employee and their department head on whether this is the direction they should continue to go. And if they agree that that is the case, the employee will then be required to pay for that third testing on their own. So that is in a nutshell what this policy is about.
So move for adoption.
Support.
I have a motion to adopt certification policy 2025-9 by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Ungst. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Anything further, Commissioner?
No.
Okay, thank you. Physical Resources, Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Physical Resources met Thursday, November 6th. The Building and Grounds Division, we discussed a very important issue before us, which is the annual Christmas tree, and there's lengthy discussion on that. There's talk of potentially having a permanent live tree growing out of the yard here instead of cutting a tree down every year. So we're gonna, my esteemed colleague and friend and chairman is gonna do some research on whether or not that would even be possible if we wanted to go down that route. So we can maybe next month's meeting discuss further, but that was a very interesting conversation. We also had a request before us regarding Lake Arrowhead Estates and water sewer service that they needed. Deputy Elliott discussed the MSC renovations, and the phase 2 of the MSC renovations are on track and going well. And we did some new furnishings for the jail control room. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And Lake Arrowhead was on the consent agenda today. Questions for Commissioner Krasny? Thank you, Commissioner. Bridging the Gap Committee.
Airport Commission.
Excuse me. Yeah, board appointments, Airport Commission, Commissioner Collins.
Airport Commission met on the 3rd of the month. Lengthy report on the maintenance program continually ongoing by Thomas. A review of future projects, one of which may be the purchase of a different size tank for aviation fuel, which will eliminate the need for trucks coming out on a regular basis to fuel up. This would be a larger tank, result in less cost, more profit for the county. And an update on the tree project that has been ongoing. I know it's been said before, just needs said again how fortunate we are to have Thomas there. In the course of the maintenance discussion, there's several vehicles will have a breakdown. And he must be a master of all trades, because he fixes a great deal of the equipment programs that break down that normally would have been farmed out to some company at a much higher cost. So we are super fortunate to have him. That is all, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, that's very true. Thomas does a great job. Any questions for Commissioner Collins? Thank you, Commissioner. Bridging the Gap, Commissioner Martis.
Thank you. We met twice in the last month. I think we listened to 5 additional presentations. I think we have 2 more days of meetings yet till we have gone through all 25 or 26 proposals. Again, with every presentation, we realize there's another half dozen questions we need to answer and problems we need to solve. And again, the hard work remains in front of us. It's a long ways from being done, but we have the right folks in place to make good decisions. And a number of the proposals have been outstanding that I think will have a good effect on people in the community. So
Questions for Commissioner Martis? I've been very impressed with the committee and their due diligence on going through all of that. I mean, that's a lot of work. There's a lot of doing, what, 4 a month?
Six,
Six.
Sometimes.
yeah, when they all appear, it's actually six.
Right. Thank you. Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. We'll skip the Stimson two committees, go to County Planning Commission, Commissioner Blanco.
They did not meet in October due to no agenda items, but they will meet next week.
Okay, thank you. Department on Aging, Commissioner Collins.
Department on Aging met on the 23rd of last month. I was unable to attend as I was out of the county, administering the packet. And the director is here if we have any questions for Carrie.
Questions? Thank you. We'll skip over Human Service Medical Facility, Commissioner Tillson's absent. Emergency 911 District Board, Commissioner Collins.
911 board has not met since our last meeting. We'll be meeting tomorrow, 3 o'clock in these chambers.
Thank you, Commissioner. Health Board, Commissioner Collins.
Health board met on the 15th. The discussion or information received that respiratory illnesses are still low in the county. There are 20 measles cases in Michigan, none in Lenawee County. Obviously, the state budget is passed and they believe they will receive level funding and no concerns reviewed. And a good portion of time went over the strategic plan that has been developed by the director out there.
Questions? Thank you, Commissioner. Homeland Security Emergency Planning, Commissioner Collins.
Did not meet as there was no information to go through.
Thank you. Land Bank Authority, Commissioner Collins.
And met on the 28th. Most of the meeting was in closed session over several issues. But those that was discussed in open session, we accepted an offer from Habitat for properties on Lau Avenue in Adrian. And a contract is to be drawn for use of private property in accessing a separate property where the building is going to be raised and torn down. And the contract, I don't believe it yet been signed, has it?
I don't believe so, and that's for a piece of property in the village of Addison.
Right, that is at 140 South Main in Addison.
Questions for Commissioner Collins? Thank you, Commissioner. I told the administrator I'd cover MAC Finance and General Government as she had the meeting a little early last week. But all of the items that we covered at the meeting were covered today by Steve Curry, with the exception of ranked voting, which I want to just bring to everyone's attention. That's RINKED, ranked voting. It's a movement that's going through collection of signatures process right now to get on the ballot. So I know the clerk brought it up briefly last month at the meeting, which I wasn't here, but everyone should follow this very closely because you know, I think the state's doing everything to torture our county clerks from going to early voting and now going to ranked voting. I mean, this could cause our ballots to go from 1 page to as many as 3 to 4 pages. Is that correct? So basically what would happen is in a primary, if you had 10 candidates running for a job, you would rank each one of those candidates would show up on the ballot and you would rank them according to what your preference is to having them. And then as they go through, if one falls off, they move them up, and it's a very complicated, convoluted process. And hopefully it does not become the law of the land, but it's going to become very difficult for the county clerks of the state to administer this. I don't know if Clerk Holloway has any comments, but okay. So any questions for MAC Finance and General Government for the administrator or I? Do you have anything further, Administrator?
No, I just want to point out that you did a good job summarizing that. One of the other problems is, and I appreciate our clerk not wanting to take a stand on this publicly, but one of the issues is there's no way on a ranked voting ballot that you are going to be able to certify an election within 14 days, which is also state law. So there's a whole lot of concerns as we come forward with this, and we will be paying close attention to what happens with this going forward.
Thank you. Yes, I'm sure our clerk will keep us well informed on that moving forward. MAC Judiciary and Public Safety, Deputy Administrator Elliott.
Thank you. Judiciary and Public Safety met on October 27th. We had a presentation from Dave Pilon and Tom Laddig for Ron Mafka, or the Michigan Association of Family Court Administrators. They have started a work group called the Detention and Residential Legislative Work Group. This has been meeting, it's been meeting for about 4 weeks now, and will probably meet for about 8 to 12 more months. This was established by Rep. Leitner and Rep. Roth. And the purpose is to provide strategic guidance, oversight, and collaborative expertise for new legislation. One of the things they're looking at doing is creating the same licensing for both court and county operated facilities. Currently, they operate, work differently with different licensing. And obviously, they want to create some specialized programming for training across the state of Michigan. So this is pretty good news. It should alleviate some of the bed shortages because it will increase or entice most likely more people to remain employed in juvenile facilities or become employed in juvenile facilities. And it will also give those facilities a little more latitude when it comes to some of your highly difficult young people who may be detained.
Questions for Deputy Administrator Elliott? Thank you, Shannon. Marie Spear Campus Commissioner Collins.
Green Spear Campus been on the 5th of this month. There are 28 total residents in the campus, 15 from out county. The board approved the purchase, and this is with board funds, not county funds, but approved the purchase of radios for the staff to communicate within the complex out there. One bright and shining thing that I think deserves mention, and I mentioned to Criminal Justice, a previous resident of the campus, excuse me, left the campus, did very well for themselves, and has indicated that their stay at the campus is what turned their life around. This individual lives, I believe, in Wisconsin, and has done well for himself, and he is now given a minimum, according to him, of $10,000 to the campus for scholarships for young students to use from this point forward, hoping that will start a movement that will increase the amount. But it's a great example of what that campus has done for some of these kids, turned this fellow's life around, and now he is giving back to the campus for having them do what they did. I thought it was just super.
Great story. Questions for Commissioner Collins? Thank you, Commissioner. Parks Commission, Tillotson is not available. Region 2 Planning is not available. Pardon me? No, Michigan Works, sorry, Commissioner Collins.
Mr. Works has not met since our last meeting.
They're meeting
I believe next week.
next week, and I told you I will be out of state, okay. Solid waste materials, Stimson's not here, Commissioner Stimson's, or Tillison's not here on substance abuse, so we'll go to liaison appointments, and Commissioner Blanco, Michigan MTA, Michigan Township Association.
They did not meet in October, but they meet in November next week. So I'll have a report next time.
Thank you. Road Commission, Commissioner Martis.
I attended their meeting last, what day is this? Yeah, last Thursday. The big item there is the completion of all the work on Yankee Road, which was a multi-year, 7-mile project. It's in my township, in my district. It's gone the standard course where the folks complain about the potholes and then the dust from the gravel. And now that it's beautiful, they're complaining about the speeders. So all is well, all is good. That's normal. But a special thank you to Congressman Wahlberg, whose appropriation of $1.4 million is one of the chief reasons it's done this year and not a year from now. So it's a great step forward, and they've done a stunning job. It's really nice.
Questions for Commissioner Martis? Thank you, Commissioner. Veterans Affairs, Commissioner Collins.
Veterans Affairs met on the 10th. There's a use report on activities that they went through. They also reported that the use of Myers cards and gas cards and food cards, at least at this time, is going to be discontinued. That's all I have.
Questions for Commissioner Collins? Thank you, Commissioner. Well-wise, I missed the meeting this month, and it was a good month to miss it, I guess, because they were here today and pretty well filled everyone in on what was happening. So other liaison appointments, any? Unfinished business? New business. We have a FOIA appeal, and I will yield here to Deputy Administrator Elliott for a brief overview of where we're at here.
So we received an appeal Tuesday last week in the administrator's office. That appeal is considered received by the Board of Commissioners on their first regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting, which is today. You have the ability to take the action listed up on the screen that reverse the original denial and release the requested document, to uphold the original denial of records and do not release any documents, reverse the original denial in part and uphold the original denial in part, essentially meaning you could say, I want a portion of the request released, but a portion of the request remains denied. Under unusual circumstances, you can issue a notice for a 10-day business day extension. However, you can only notice one of those extensions. And you are able to take comments from the person filing the appeal, who I believe is in the gallery. And you have both her appeal as well as my written response to that appeal in your packet.
Discussion, questions?
I would move that we uphold the original denial of records. As I went through this several times, I see no reason for irreversible denial.
Support.
I have a motion to uphold the original denial of records. Is there discussion? I would concur with you, Commissioner. I reviewed this, and I'm not sure there was a great review done of our rules and regulations, but when it comes to engaging legal activity for the county, we have a specific rule for that, which I think we all remember in the last couple of years that we put into effect, where the administrator and gets with the chairman of the board, or the chairman of the board gets with the administrator, whoever is confronted with this, to discuss whether this should go on to legal. And the administrator got a hold of me and did do that, and we agreed to send it on to legal. So that makes her an agent of the county. She represents the county in between commission meetings at all times. The FOIA appeal basically said that she was not qualified, that it was handled by the county and not by Administrator Murphy. Well, Administrator Murphy is the county. Okay, she runs the county business in between the commission meetings. So, and during the commission meeting, she's in charge of the county. We appoint her to do that. So that, and the fact that there are no records because the attorney involved in this, when the case was not going further, he destroys all of his information. So there was no contact information to submit. So I would concur with that. Anybody else? You've all had a chance to review it. Does anybody else have any comments? If not, the motion is to uphold the original denial of the records. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Denied. Public comment. This is the time when anybody in the here today with the public would like to speak to the commission. You have 3 minutes. State your name and residency, and then you have 3 minutes, and please address the commission here. This is not a dialogue with the commission. This is just your statement. We do not answer any specifics according to what you're asking.
I'm Dawn Fisher. I'm the one who.
Is the microphone on there? I mean,
Yes? Is that better?
talk right into the mic.
Okay. I'm Dawn Fisher. I wrote the appeal. And since on another complaint, those things were given out, the results were given to both the complainant and the respondent. So I didn't understand why it was not given to me. As far as attorney-client privilege, say that usually only pertains to their communications as far as legal advice. That result shouldn't have been a legal advice. It was just the results of my complaint. And since the actions are still continuing, I would like to know, how to further handle it. That's why I'm seeking these results. I want to see what he had to say. I don't know what else to say.
That all?
I guess so.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any other public comment? Commissioner comments? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Administrator Murphy,
Nope.
speak up over there.
This is just a comment. I want to remind any of the commissioners who serve on the scholarship committee, please take a look at those guidelines. We are being asked if there's going to be any changes to the scholarship guidelines, and we need to have that review and that response back to the ISD by December 1st. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about that process, please get in touch with Ms. Zupke from my office so that she can make that communication.
Can you remind us who the members are of that
Yes.
scholarship committee?
I believe it is Commissioner Blanco, Commissioner Ungst, and Commissioner Martis.
Correct.
If you didn't know.
He was just asking for clarification
I'm
for
sure.
others.
Sure, that's what it was.
Well, I had a shred of hope that maybe
Friend of his wanted to know.
Yeah,
with
ask-
26,
asking for a friend, right? Yeah.
well, with 26 opioid proposals, now we can go through about 40 applications. I only got so many hours in the day, but
Well-deserved scholarship applications,
absolutely.
though.
I'm glad to support it, and it's a wonderful program.
Another thing I wanted to mention, for those of you that are interested, tomorrow is our tree delivery of the Christmas tree on the front lawn. So Front Street will be shut down between the hours of 9:30 and approximately 2 o'clock while they bring the tree in and deliver it. If you've never been here to see it, I would encourage you to watch. It is quite a feat to watch them lift that tree up and over the power lines and drop it in the resting place. So that'll be happening tomorrow, with the program to be happening on Monday, December 1st. It starts at 7 o'clock with the tree lighting to take place at approximately 7:30. I just wanted to give those updates.
Perfect. Thank you, Administrator Murphy. Any other announcements? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Krasny. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned.